Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Knowles. I am from Zion Benton Township High School as a teacher, and the buzz around the Hive, Volume 3, Episode 3 is on the air. We're going to talk about basic expectations for students, getting to class on time, doing well in the classroom, managing your mobile device. I know these are things we've all talked about, but let's get it out there and let's really dissect what's really going on and how you can be successful and get those A's, B's, and C's everyone keeps talking about. So enough said for me. Let's go. All right. So everyone, my name is Mr. Knowles. I'm a history teacher over here at Zion Benton Township High School, and we're talking about the buzz around the Hive Volume 3. So before I introduce my co-host, we have to give him his just due. So at first,
do I have everybody's attention now?
Dr. Pavelchik, I think that was proper enough to get you in there. You have to give the Ric Flair woo and get everyone's attention. So
I appreciate that. My years ago, I was contemplating becoming a professional wrestler.
What would your wrestling name have been, sir?
You know what? That's why I didn't become a professional wrestler. I couldn't come up with anything crafty. That's the only reason.
And any finishing moves that you would have had, the principal headlock? I mean, I don't know.
No, nothing. Nothing. Not that creative.
Not that creative. All right, sir. So this week our focus is like the basic expectation of what we're looking at our students. And real quick, I mean, why this focus this week? Why did you want to come at this topic this time?
Well, great question. Primarily because it seems to be these little things, right, that are happening that I think sometimes I assume, or you may assume, or we all assume, like everybody should know that these are basic things everyone should do, particularly students, right? That students all across the country for decades and decades, like these are the little things that teenagers have to do to be successful in high school. And yet year after year after year, they continue to be the primary things that cause students to not be successful, right? So, for what it's worth, not taking anything for granted anymore, right? And just trying to make sure that we are doing all we can to provide constant reminders, and really highlight this with both our students and with our parents to see what we can do to just try and help individuals change some of their habits, or maybe just gain a deeper understanding of, look, maybe if I just change these couple things, then ultimately my experiences in school, particularly my success in school, can be a little bit better or a lot better depending on, where they're at currently.
So as we go into it, I mean, first things first, I mean, the number one priority, I think, as being a teacher is just being to school and class on time, making sure you're prompt and ready to go. Why is it so important that we stress to our students this priority?
Well, I think, primarily, we have a very limited amount of time that we have each period with students. And any minute that's missed, that's just precious time that is really hard to get caught up. It's primarily the burden on the student who has to somehow either get work that was missed, get the information that was shared, even just center themselves in the rest of the class period, right? That's, teachers have these beginning routines, right? To just kind of calm everyone down. You were just running through the hallway. Who knows where they came from? So let's just kind of get ourselves centered as students so that we can then dive into the work. And if that opportunity isn't there, then they just jump right into it. I mean, that can be a distraction and could possibly not allow students to really get themselves going in what the work is all about.
And plus too, I mean, we don't have that minute or two to kind of waste. We kind of want to get in and get to it. A lot of students think we have like 2-3 minutes. Like, no, let's go. Sit down, open your Chromebooks. Here's some paper. Let's move it. And it's just sometimes, even with kids coming in a little bit later, I mean, do we issue new alarm clocks or
we could talk about the responsibility of always being on time as well, right? And there's a lot to that, but I also think we're living in a world where that we're so busy and we're so packed in. Like the normal world really does not work like school buildings do. It just doesn't. The normal workforce does not work like, oh, I've got these 46 minutes. All right. And then I got 5 minutes and then I got 46 minutes. And then that really isn't how the world works. So, I think we all have to be mindful a little bit of that. But at the same time, it's about the habitualness of what we'll just call tardiness, or the habitualness of students showing up late to work and sorry, not work, showing up late to school. That, those are very controllable things in some regard. In some cases, right, students' tardiness, at least to school, sometimes isn't their fault. It's the fault of either a ride that they can't get or some other kind of responsibilities, or we know that students work perhaps late into the evening and they need to get some sleep. So, there's all kinds of reasons why. What the message that I'd like to kind of continue to send and make sure people are aware of is just don't make these habitual practices, because in the end, over time, that's really going to start to impact overall the success of a student in school. Day to day, I should say, period to period, running around the building. There are a lot of disruptions that take place throughout the course of the day.
Yes, sir.
Student after student running in or arriving late and disrupting kind of that mojo that gets started. That's just stuff that, as a principal, right? And teachers and our disciplinarians, right? We just want to continue to work with our students to make sure that they can reduce that to zero would be great, right? But that's kind of not realistic, when you're running around a large comprehensive school building. So we're just really trying to work on cleaning up some of those that are habitually not making it their kind of their primary mission to show up on time.
Definitely. And talking about the way the world works between school and the outside world, the one big thing is mobile devices, is cell phones, tablets, and things, and Chromebooks even too.
Mm-hmm.
How could we best set the expectation for managing students' mobile devices? Like, what are we trying to communicate between here and at home that, they need to get their work done?
Right. Well, from my perspective, it's about helping youngsters find balance between having it with them and not allowing it to be a distraction to them. Right. I would certainly speculate, and you can back this up, right? Maybe the number one complaint that classroom teachers all across the country have, right? Maybe, right? Is the inability for a student to not be distracted by their mobile device. I'm not saying not use it. I'm saying be distracted by it, right? Checking a message, or using it for some other purpose, or those are all, I think, pretty normal activities that I think in most cases are going to be allowable. But it's when this becomes a long period of time or way too frequently, that's a problem, right? And mobile devices aren't going away. It is who we are as human beings now. So, and many students do a fantastic job of balancing it. A fantastic job, right? I'm sure that you see that all the time. But others, no. It's just it is their priority. And so, and that's kind of the theme right now is just helping students and really trying to partner with parents as well in delivering the same message about the importance of just trying to find balance in your life with these kinds of things.
And students and parents, if whoever's watching this right now, just understand that we're trying to be here to make sure your student is successful in the classroom. And the main thing that I push out in my classroom is like, guys, look, we only have 47 minutes. I guarantee you Snapchat will still be there in 47 minutes. TikTok will still be there in 47 minutes. a message or a phone call, we'll be still there. So it's okay. I mean, if you need to check something from mom, that's fine. But other than that, or mom or dad or guardian or whatever the case is, but other than that, let's, if you need to keep it right next to you so you don't go crazy, that's fine. But let's just make sure we treat it like adults have conversations. We try and keep our phones down when we have conversations, and we kind of break it down like that.
Right. For sure.
So definitely, we're talking about the investment of time equals success in the classroom. I mean, all the things that go into it. I mean, if you want to speak to it real quick, completing all your work on time, outside distractions and stuff, how important is it to kind of prioritize your time to be able to make sure you put the right time investment into your schoolwork to make sure you get that success?
Right. I mean, it's imperative, right? I mean, it's, and helping students understand that can be a challenge. I think when you look, if we were to kind of add characteristics to students that we've had over the years that have been either our highest performing students, highest achieving students, students that have overcome, some sort of challenge in the classroom, right? Then, one of the primary characteristics of those students is they just invest their time, and they create time to make sure that they can get what they need to get done, the priority when it comes to school. Now, I'm very aware that there are a lot of competing variables outside of the school building and inside the school building. And that's where we as educators, right, and hopefully parents and guardians can help students figure that out, right, in terms of what they really should be investing their time in, and what kind of priority they should be putting on, first and foremost, school. I mean, there isn't anything that's more important for anyone who's in the teenage years than their high school experience right now. And it's our jobs as the adults, whether it's, principal, teacher, a parent, or a guardian, to do all that we can to then remove all of these other things that become distractions in students' lives that keep them from really doing the work too. So that is a huge statement that I just made, because it's very complicated, because there are so many things that are going on in our students' lives, both inside the building, academically, extracurricularly, their own social circles, and then also their home lives, which in many cases are very important as well. So I don't want to overjudge that, but it's really hopefully helping our students just find, like I said, maybe find some more priority in what they're trying to do. That, along with the other things we just talked about, are these things that I think are controllables to some degree. And that if students who are currently struggling can kind of fix some of those things, I think they're going to start to see more success in the classroom.
Definitely. I do. I mean, and well said. I mean, definitely making sure you prioritize well and everything on outside of, I mean, we have so many competing factors, even adults. I mean, you and I both have kids, we both have jobs, we both have multiple things. So
I was supposed to be in a meeting 20 minutes ago. I'm guilty.
Well,
I'm guilty too.
At least it's being recorded where you are. Bottom, if you want to be a guest on the Buzz on the Hive or Buzz Around the Hive, we're looking for potentials in the future. My email's on the bottom. Dr. Pavelchuk and I will go through them, and just to see if what you guys want to talk about, topics, what they align with what we're going to do week to week, and we'll reach out to you individually. But we're always looking for future guests, so please reach out. That is my school email. Feel free to do that. Dr. Pavelchuk, what has driven you this week? Anything driven you, made you happy, made you laugh? Anything for the week? Any words of wisdom?
Wow, that's I wasn't anticipating that question, Mr. Knowles. Wow. But you know what? I will tell you, looking at first quarter grades, and just grade distribution, A's, B's, and C's, and the percentage across all of our grade levels and all of our departments, right? We are doing as well as we have done in quite some time at that first quarter level, and I'm talking about pre-COVID too. Those first semesters up through that first quarter, we are doing remarkably well, and I want to express my gratitude to both our students who are doing just a remarkable job collectively coming to in-person learning after a while being, remote, and just really doing just a remarkable job. Also to our staff who's just creating those environments, and certainly our families who have been promoting and supporting that effort too, right? It's just, we're not at 100% yet, right? We still have, quite a number of students who either are failing or earning Ds. And there's plenty of time to get those grades up. And that's one of the many reasons why we try to take some time like this just to share what we think are causations of maybe students not being as successful as they can be. Because I want 100% of our students earning A's, B's, or C's, period.
Definitely. And you know what, from a teacher's perspective, sometimes teachers find the littlest things give you happiness. See, if you had a DVD player back in the day, you'll understand why that's so important and so precious to my heart. You always waited for that corner shot. So, have you ever been in that position, sir?
No. No. One day, Mr. Knowles. One
day it'll hit. So for Dr. Pavelchik, my name is Mr. Knowles. The buzz is real, guys. We'll see you next time on the Buzz Around the Hive.